All right. Hey guys. So here is episode 5 of Devil's Advocate.
5, man. We're 5 in.
Yep. My favorite co-host right now, Average Joe and Mr. Nothing Special. So today I hope that we will be having a good show. Um my friend here sent me a clip for me to react to and to probably help validate kind of any of his point of views. Let's see how I react to it because I haven't seen it yet. So let me tell me when you think it should stop too, because if it's too much.
Yeah, like we're gonna go 3 minutes in. Warning, there's like some language, but
Okay.
Two-part series on Kevin Samuels. And I couldn't even get started because as soon as I posted this picture of him, niggas started attacking me. Why are you using that picture? Why in the world are you attacking the Godfather? Why in the world do you got something negative to say about Kevin Samuels? You a simp. You a hater. You clout chasing. I haven't said a single word about this nigga yet, and y'all are ready to attack me because you think I might say something negative about your daddy. That's right, your daddy. You know, father figure, having ass niggas who look to this man that you don't know to speak for you, and you just rah cheering behind them. Now, there's a lot of us men.
First of all, I want to say this, right?
Yeah.
I think that's disingenuous. Well, let's say this. Kevin Samuel, however you feel about him, right?
Mm-hmm.
He is a man that's at least, looking out for other men. Whether you think that he's a good role model or not, his content, right, has always been about helping men or giving voice to men.
Okay.
And you calling him, again, like I said, you don't have to like his content, but he has helped men. So for you to, I believe, it's already disingenuous, right? You calling him, you pretty much, and he's shitting on his own people.
Now,
pretty much saying you're fatherless people, right?
Okay.
I think that's, you already come into an argument or your own whatever, your debate or your own conversation, insulting people. And it's true. Like, out of any pictures, I think, I don't know if you heard about a lot of let's say women's attack on him is that he's gay. He died having sex with a woman. So really,
So hold on, because he's gonna make that point. Now, when he starts, just to clarify, this was made like a year before he died. So at the point this video comes out, Kevin Samuels is alive, right?
Okay.
And active. And what he says when he starts the video is, listen, I'm going to make a 2-part video about Kevin Samuels. But before I could even get started, I posted a picture of him and you guys started coming at me. Now he's talking about a very specific crowd. He's talking about the people who responded to seeing that he was going to post a video about Kevin Samuels without even hearing what he said yet. So he hasn't addressed Kevin Samuels yet. He's only addressing the people who's responding.
I agree. But I'm saying like this, right? Mm-hmm. We as minorities know if let's say this, he's doing this is maybe subconscious, maybe he's not doing it on purpose, right? But we all know that when you see, let's say, nightly news, what picture they put on of a black guy? Not in his suit, but of him looking like maybe a mugshot, maybe his pants are down, maybe a really hood looking picture. So really, any straight man would see this picture and not really see a view of masculinity. So really, I mean, like, I don't know again, I'm not saying what he's going to say about him, whether it's good or bad. I'm not saying that. I'm saying he's starting his approach disingenuous already. Because again, I get it. When you're online, you're trying to clickbait. You're trying to garner views, garner reactions, right? Mm-hmm. But again, it is disingenuous because, one, he already shown a picture that's really not flattering of a man. Okay. 2, I get it. His audience is reacting to it, or people are reacting to it, but he's coming at it really at such a insultful way in the you calling your fellow black men fatherless. Yeah, I'm saying like whether they look to him as a father or not, they do look at. I said this before, right? I believe the problem with men in general are they're guideless. They have, yeah, a lot of them may not have fathers, but most of them have no mentor, no guide, no one guiding them in life. That is I believe, probably the, I don't know, top 3 problem of especially of black men, but of men in general as well. Mm-hmm. So really, I don't see that as you shouldn't make that as an insult because it's true, right? I believe it's a big epidemic that single motherhood is growing. So really, it's like it comes out just very disingenuous where, first of all, you insult men for not having fathers. You insult men for looking to a decent, you know what, face value, a decent man for guidance. So really, it's just like, it comes off as just, why would you insult a man? I mean, why are you insulting men that looking for guidance? That's just my thing.
Okay, all right, cool. That's part of the reaction. But yeah. But go ahead and play it. And let him make his point. Well,
right, who's out here handling our business, doing what we have to do, who have had an issue with women not being accountable. If you look, last year I made a post saying that all these billions of people on social media, all these pages, and nobody is specializing in showing women accountability. Taraji P. Henson, who was very pro-woman, and Jill Scott, who was very pro-woman, agreed with me. And people attacked Jill Scott for agreeing with me on the post. Nobody has an issue with holding women accountable. So when Kevin Samuels came forward, it was a breath of fresh air to me. But what I didn't realize is how many bitch-ass niggas he was going to empower. All these niggas, if you ever see Kevin Samuels go live, just look at the live feed comments. As soon as a woman pop up, oh, she a 2. She don't deserve a man. Oh, she probably got 100 kids, whatever. All these no pussy getting ass niggas who ain't never had the bravery to speak to a woman can't do nothing but talk shit when Kevin is talking to these women. And men, us men who are handling our business and doing our shit, come on, be honest. We know these niggas. We know who these niggas are. They're the same niggas that troll us in our comment section. And all I'm saying is, it doesn't matter if Kevin is doing a service, because if he creates 3 angels in women by teaching them to be accountable, but in the end, create 1,000 monster-ass niggas that's ready to disrespect women on the back end, it's hurting what he's trying to do. Why the fuck does it even bother you that I use this picture? Oh, he looks gay in that picture. Oh, that's why you're using it. Want me to use this picture? What about this picture? Maybe I should use this picture. The reason it doesn't matter what picture I use, because Kevin Samuels looks gay. He's not gay. The singer Neo had the same issue. He would take all kinds of pictures that make people question his sexuality. When men are raised by women and they don't have any male influence whatsoever around them, they tend to take some zesty ass photos. But Neo is married with children happily. This nigga's fine. Kevin Samuels been married twice. He has a child. That nigga's fine. But you niggas is so scared of me saying something negative about your dad, because you ain't have no man to look up to. And now you seeing somebody stand up, you know what I mean, to women like you couldn't do. Now all of a sudden you want to rally behind them. You know the most dangerous thing in the world for a woman is a man. The thing that hurts women more than anything in this world are men. That's why women continuously say, protect black women. Look at the significant amount of black women who are sexually touched by somebody they know or someone in their family when they're young. The number is significant. Or the story about the black woman in New York who just wanted to grab a bottle of wine after work and a dude offered to pay for it. She was like, no, thank you. So him and his friends jumped there and he tried to bite her eye out. Or about the girl in Atlanta who was on a scooter date with her man and a dude drove up in the car and tried to holler at her and then she was like, no. So he shot her in the leg. What about the girl who goes to LSU that they just found in the Mississippi River? You want to know why shit like that happens? Well, you know, when you're on a date, right, and a girl takes a picture of you, or she texts her homegirl who she's with, and where y'all are going, or she takes a picture of your license plate. You wanna know why shit like that happens? That shit used to offend me. But then it dawned on me that there's a lot of you psycho ass niggas out there. And the most dangerous thing in the world for a woman is a man. But women are all over the place screaming protect black women, and y'all like, oh, this is.
You can pause it, and you don't have to play more. You have to play more. I have some things I want to say and follow up what he said, but first, what's your
okay? Let me say this, right? Okay, let me. I have some things to say too, right? It's true that first of all, he didn't create no man, right? Let's say this. Let's say he said that creating 3 angels and then creating 1,000 terrible men. No, he didn't create no man. Men in his comment. Let's say men in his comment section. They were who they are to begin with before he came on. So really, he didn't create nobody. That's just it. So he's not a. See, that's the thing. That's why I said it's disingenuous. You don't put a blame on a man's action on him when he doesn't control people. We don't control others. We don't. A single person does not control another single person. So how you are is how you are. I would like to say that this man, continue watching him, right? He's still disingenuous. Let's say this. He said this, which is a true fact, that what's dangerous for women are men. But what he doesn't understand is that what's dangerous for men are other men. Okay? And it's great that he pulls up these horrific crimes that happen to women. But I could equally bring up even more horrific crimes that happen to men. Because if you see, actually, men are of a higher degree of violence against them. Men die or have violence onto them at a higher degree than women. Not sexual abuse, I would say that. Not the rape. They don't have that as a higher percentage compared to women. But again, men gets killed, they get beaten, they get other whatever, murdered, all these stuff at a much higher degree than women. So really, it's not apples to apples to apples, right? What is dangerous to women is dangerous to men too. So you put an argument is like, let's say this: a woman walking at night. People say that a woman walking at night, she's is dangerous because a man. Well, even a man walks at night, it would still be dangerous for him. He might not get raped, but he could get killed. He could get mugged, because I've been mugged, right? Walking at night. I have.
Me too.
And if you don't know, right? Actually, the highest child abuse, right, is by women. Statistically, it's by women. Because you think about this. More single mother homes. Well, who's doing the most abusing? Single mothers. Women. I'm not taking away from the violence that's happened to women, but I think it's such a narrative when he just said it one way. The biggest biggest problem to women or whatever is men. Well, okay. The biggest thing to men is men too. But you got to think, right? We are a population of, let's say, what is it? I forgot. A couple billion, 2 billion, whatever the U.S. is, but a lot. In the U.S., the death. I'm just doing not random statistics, but kind of correlated, where I think homicide, murder rate was about a couple 100,000. Okay. That doesn't necessarily co-line when we have more people. And you also think criminals, let's do with that. Let's say men. The amount of men that do crimes, it's like, let's say one man kill multiple people. It's not one man to kill one person and then another man kills another person and so on. No, it's probably one man harming, victimizing multiple people. So you can't say that. It's very a blanket statement, and it's, again, I say disingenuous because you are using these stories to do what I believe many outlets, many modern media have done, is just paint one-sided picture to fit a narrative. But like I said, what's dangerous to women is men, but what's dangerous to men is also men. But you gotta think, right? What's dangerous to you gotta think, a mass shooter, one person shoots multiple people. So just like crime, I would say like because we always say that, right? Out of, let's even say 100 million men, you know, let's say 100,000 men have committed crime, but that's still such a small percentage of the population. So really, criminals are going to be criminals regardless. They will commit crime whether you are a man or a female. It's just more it's more publicized, right, for a female getting victimized than a man is. Because I don't know about you, right? I heard this story in Africa where they were doing a terrorist act. They captured boys and girls. They let the girls go, and they locked a bunch of boys in a house and burned them down alive. It got no news media, no media at all. So, and then they kidnapped the little girls, and that was nationwide. I don't know if you heard, maybe you saw that when, I think it was during the Obama administration.
Okay.
You know, they were talking about how, I think Michelle Obama talking about these captured little girls. That got news media. But literally, this same group of terrorist men, they did other things to little boys, right? Torture, murder, burning them alive. But it didn't give them enough attention because no one really put that attention, because boys die. Men are expendable. Women are not, because they are commodities, because they give birth. They push they prolong the next generation. They develop, they populate the earth. Men, we are just expendable.
So just to be clear, when he makes that's Ryan Davis, that's a comedian. He's a comedian, and he's the one who was doing that video about Kevin Samuels.
Well, it wasn't funny.
Well, he wasn't. I don't think he was trying to be funny.
I'm just.
but more to the point, he wasn't talking about Kevin. He didn't get to that part yet, and I haven't even seen that part, because that's a whole nother video.
Technically, I've said nothing really much about Kevin. I'm really just talking about his points.
Yeah. So he was talking about people who listen to him, and not everyone, but what he points out is maybe how did I say? He speaks to the issue I kind of have with the red pill culture a little bit, and I'll explain. Even if Kevin Samuels' advice is right, let's say it's right all the time. Same with the host of Fresh and Fit, whose name escapes me right now.
Well, the names are just pretty much Fresh and Fit. To say okay. People.
I worry about their delivery, and I've said that before. Like, even if he's making a good point, I don't like the way he's saying it. Sometimes it can come off as harsh, and maybe that's fine, because he's not saying it, if he's not saying anything wrong. But there's a large group of people who respond to what these people say in a terrible way, and that's what I worry about. So what Ryan Davis is talking about in his video is people feeling empowered to step up and be disrespectful because they listen to Kevin Samuels or to the host of Fresh and Fit or other shows. You see what I'm saying? And it's not that Kevin Samuels is telling them to be that way or trying to encourage them to be that way. But if you already have somebody who is hurt and primed to be disrespectful or primed to be criminal, and then you put someone influential in front of them, and they don't show the respect to women or to their audience that they should, these people who follow him will take it further. And this is an extreme example, but while you wouldn't blame anybody else but the person who did it for like a school shooting or a mass shooting, we often find out that those people were following online or watching videos of influential people who were saying things that encouraged their behavior. So like there was was it last year? It was last year. The gentleman who went into a shopping a supermarket parking lot, and he was just looking for black people to shoot. And there was the gentleman who went into, I think he went to a Jewish synagogue, and there was one who went into a black church. And you find out that they were listening to and watching videos of people who promoted racist ideals, which, like I said, this is an extreme example. Those people weren't telling anybody to go out and shoot anyone, but these people who were already unstable were encouraged to do so by what they were watching and viewing and listening to. And in the case of people like Kevin Samuels and others who want to teach women accountability, and maybe even teach men sometimes, because I know Kevin Samuels didn't just talk to women, but a lot of guys who followed him take it too far. And while I don't blame Kevin Samuels for that completely, I never liked his delivery because it encourages that behavior. So if I'm someone who's watching Kevin Samuels and I want to start acting like him, but I'm not him and I'm not thinking the same way, I'm thinking worse because I'm hurt or I'm angry or whatever, I'll start disrespecting women. They're all twos and I don't care about any of them. I'm gonna start calling them the B word and just being outright disrespectful or mean, or in extreme examples, criminal towards women. And yeah, criminals are going to be criminals, but criminals with encouragement are going to be worse. So that's what I mean when I say I don't like their delivery. And that's what he was talking about.
I mean, again, you make some good points, right? But let me say this. The points you make is irrational in the sense that, let's say this. No, let's put in more different context. I believe a better analogy. Let's say back in, I don't know, the 50s, whatever, or the early years, let's say games, where they said that games promoted violence. So they equated video games and making people violent, making criminals do crime, pretty much. They said they also attribute that to mass shootings. At the end of the day, I believe in accountability. I'm 100% a believer in accountability. Let's say if I, like you said, if I said a woman is a 2, okay, I said it. Now, if another man watched that and saw that, okay, I believe this woman is a 2, then he comes out and seeing that, oh, now he finds like, oh, this man said this woman is a 2. Well, I'm going to say this woman is a 2. I'm going to rape her. At the end of the day, we cannot control. I've said it before. We don't control other people. And because another thought too is like, we've seen TikToks where, let's say a couple years ago, the craze of kids lighting themselves on fire, eating Tide Pods. People are stupid.
Well, yeah,
people are stupid. And again, what people do, no one else controls it. At the end of the day, is that I'm saying this, right? I'm saying that how you deliver it don't matter when it's how people want to take it. Because I've seen it where, and we all know it, that someone could say one thing, even in the nicest way, but interpretation is individual. So you could say it the nicest way, and yet someone out there can interpret it differently, interpret it how they, in their mind, want to interpret it. So even let's say this, even if you were the most angelic speaking person, and if someone out there took what you said and actually viewed it and said, I listened to this guy and I just committed mass murder. So should we blame you, okay, on what you did? Because they took it how they want to take it. At the end of the day, that's why I said I'm not taking away that but I believe what maybe you or maybe this guy's taking away that the world is individualistic. It's so individualistic, and it's so selfish, and it's so mentally unstable as well. Is that at the end of the day, we all do what we want to do, and we decide the actions we want to take. I agree. There are men out there, and I can tell you this: in my comment sections, I've been insulted plenty of times. I'm insulted by my race, how I look, my size. I've had people say that, oh, you cannot get a girl. You can never get a girl. You're an incel. You're this and that. People insult you. People are toxic. Okay? That's just how it works. So for you to think that, let's say if we zapped no Kevin Samuel out there, and let's say currently there isn't. So there's another person. But if we zap and take those out too, those men are still out there. It doesn't necessarily, I believe it doesn't stop men from being out there, the toxic or the criminals or the dangerous men from being out there. It's just what they decide to use as a vehicle or as a mental gymnastic to do whatever action they want to do. But at the end of the day, they will do it. Like you've seen it where these mass shootings, how they decide to do what they want to do, it's at the end of the day, it's more mental problem, more accountability, self accountability than blaming it on other people. I don't do that.
No, I wouldn't, and I wouldn't blame somebody's criminal actions on them, but
I wouldn't blame anybody's actions on someone else. I just don't do that.
Well, here's where I think, especially if you're a social media influencer or celebrity. I mean, the very name implies that you can influence how people think and what people do, because it's true. So here's where I think they need to take some accountability for their actions, right? Their delivery, part of their ability to have an audience, to get views and to get attention and to get sponsorships and make money has to do with their delivery. So a lot of the times it's intentional. You see what I'm saying? They take it an extra step farther because they want people to view it, right? We post controversial titles for our videos because it gets the people's attention and it gets them thinking. So these people are, Kevin Samuels knew what he was doing. It wasn't like that was just his personality. He didn't have a choice. He crafted his delivery to get attention and to influence people, right? To get people to listen.
No, but see, I want to see that.
So I'm not blaming him for the things people do, but you can't say it doesn't have an effect at all.
No,
right?
Okay, let me say this, right? I agree that there is a concept of being an influencer. You influence people, right? I do understand that. But what I'm saying is that at the end of the day, it's accountability. Yes, let's say you got to think. If you are at a stage, any person, right, where you could watch a video and influence someone, like let's say online, to do a terrible act, I believe at the end of the day, that person was already there. So I believe, like I've said it, interpretation is individualistic. So really, let's say even if he was, like I said, even if he was the nicest person, there could be a person out there that interpreted how they want to interpret it. and see it how they want to see it. Let's say, oh my God, baby, you're 2, you're 2, but you could do better. You're not that good looking. You're kind of fat, but it's not the worst thing in the world. But people could still take it as like, oh my God, did you just call her fat? Did you just call her 2? So it's still that we got to understand that. I agree. There is a concept of being influenced, being, kind of affecting people's emotions. But at the end of the day, what I say is that the problem is that we are adults. At the end of the day, we can't control. I'll reiterate it, because we don't control other people's actions. Because I've seen it where even a woman even if a man says the nicest things, he could still have people, let's say, attacking him or doing whatever. So at the end of the day, if you are influenced by the people around you, if you change your, let's say, way of thinking or your actions because of other people's actions, I believe that's a weaker mindset.
But it's human. So
it is human. That's what's the thing. I think the whole thing is human, right? I've said it before. Humans are insane. Humans are crazy. They're complex. They're mental. I mean, you can go to the list. I also say this, right? Humans are terrible. We are the only animal on the face of the planet that actually destroying the planet and destroying us and brutally kills other humans. But that's the thing. That's the complexity of humans. We have. So that's why that's why I want to say that where we bring it back to humans. So at the end of the day, is that we can't even before. Let's say this. Even before the Fresh and Fit, even before the Kevin Samuels, there are still men that are terrible, men that committed crimes, men that insulted women, men that disrespected women. I believe, right? The stats on the amount of men that's doing it is not increased. I don't think so. I'm a strong believer, because there's not been proof that toxic misogyny has increased. No. So really, but it says the issue is that we're so much more intertwined because of social media. So we see something like that and we believe that, maybe the terrible men have increased. I don't believe that. And I don't think that it has been shown like that.
Okay. I don't disagree with you. I think though that they can be emboldened. So, well, I'll make 2 more points and then I'll be off the subject. If like we saw videos last week of giant crowds running into Walmart and stealing, right? And you have to think that
Please check that out.
If you pull some of those individuals aside, you could talk some sense into them. They wouldn't all be just thieves running into Walmart. That there's an element of following along with the crowd, which is a shame, but it happens, right? If you have a group of toxic men in an environment where toxicity is not encouraged, they might keep their mouth shut. But if you have a group of toxic men in an environment where toxicity is encouraged, they're going to make a lot of noise and seem like a big crowd, right? And seem like more than they are. And so I think there's an element of that happens sometimes. The other thing I'll say, and this
try to keep on remembering your topic, okay? I want to point out to that. You made a point where we saw that big crowd, of destruction that's happening in Walmarts. Again, that shows you human nature, right? People are people, right? They could be dangerous. They could be mentally unstable. They could be just bad people. That happens. So let's say your point where, groups of terrible men get together. Well, we've had like Holocaust. We've had other shit, it's happened already in society. So let's say, Kevin Samuels Kevin Samuel or Fresh and Fit are promoting these groups of men to get together and be toxic together. Like, again, we take away the accountability that, you know what? No, not them. It's just there are toxic men out there. There are terrible men out there. This is how it is. Whether they have this as a platform or whether they're in a back shed getting together and just talking shit about women. It necessarily down. I say, right, what's better is that they're showing their face. I say it's better that we see these toxic men and actually point a finger at them and actually view that, okay, I'd rather see toxic men in real life than them hiding somewhere where I don't even know, because then we'll be blinded by it. So that's my thoughts to your first point.
Okay. And I guess my point about the crowd is, so yes, a bunch of toxic men, but there's also people who are like, when you talk about a big crowd, I talk about people who might be on the fence. And what I mean by that is
you think about people being swayed into it.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. Like, there are people who may have a tendency to do something, but if you can get to them, like, I might be able to talk some sense into somebody and they'd be like, you know what? You're right, man. I shouldn't even be thinking like that. I don't know what got into me. But in a crowd of people doing something, they might just be, rah, let's go. We're going to go with it. That's how a lot of crowd tragedies happen, right? My other point is, and this isn't just, I'll use somebody else as an example. I think there's a difference between trying to help someone, trying to legitimately help someone, and then doing it for show. And I can point to, I'm gonna say Steve Harvey, right? Steve Harvey.
I hate him. He's such a punk. But okay, continue.
So and I think I understand why. That goes to my point. So, like, when he had his show, his talk show, and he would talk, he would make a point about what men should do, how they should treat a woman, how a gentleman should act, right? A lot of those times, he wasn't talking to men to help them be better. He was talking to women to get them riled up, to get their adulation. When he would say something, he wouldn't say it like, it's not like, it's different if I were to take a man aside and say, hey, here's some things you can do better to make things better for you. Steve Harvey would say, men back in my day used to be this way and that way, and they used to know how to hold the door open for a woman, and they knew what chivalry was, and it's dead now, and that's a shame. And you were a real man would be a kinder, gentler soul to you, right? And he may be making a point, but he's making that point to the women to get their attention and get them riled up. Where if his motive were really to help a man, he would say, guys, here's how we can do better. We can do better by having better manners, by being more chivalrous. Here's some things that I learned that have helped me out. You know what I mean? His delivery would be different, and it would be geared towards saying, here's what we are doing, and here's what we could be doing. Instead of making a show about what's wrong with one group all the time to get the other group excited. And I think there's an element to that with a lot of social influencers, like Kevin Samuels, like the guys at Fresh and Fit. If you take it to the other side, right? I said Steve Harvey. There was Derek Jackson. I remember talking about him a lot. he was like the opposite of Kevin Samuels, right? And talk about how bad men are and how a real gentleman should act. And he was a fraud because it come to find out he didn't do any of those things. He cheated on his wife. He was kind of horrible, but his delivery was tailored to get views and get attention and get praise. It wasn't tailored to help. And there are guys like you and hopefully myself, and there are others who want to spread a message to help men be better and do better and take care of their mental and emotional stability. And then there are people who use that as a platform, but they're just there to get views. So their delivery is tailored to be controversial and to get people riled up and excited and emotionally react, which is the opposite a lot of the times of what you want from what we want for our men. So if my platform is men's health, I'm not going to encourage toxicity. I'm going to do what I can to discourage it. So I'm going to speak to other men, and in a way that encourages them to look inside themselves and find ways to do better, find ways to take responsibility, find ways to build their self-esteem and take care of their emotional health. But my delivery isn't going to come across like I'm cursing you out or I'm telling you off or I'm putting you down, because I think that has the opposite effect.
No, I mean, let's say this, right? At the end of the day, and I agree with you a lot of things you said. I'll say this. At the end of the day, we have to, you're in entertainment, or at least like you're writing a book, you know, you've done amateur directing, you've done, at the end of the day, we have to understand the medium. It's just how it is, right? So you can't be, I think it's ridiculous where there's people that, let's say, maybe him chastise influencer or being sensational. I don't think Kevin Samuels is being sensational for sensational effect.
Okay.
I just think that he's letting loose and seeing that, okay, letting loose is a better viewing and more enjoyable view. But again,
I mean, sometimes he's just matching energies. It's like,
yeah. But we also gotta understand that at the end of the day, you gotta think Kevin Samuel. I can tell you this. Most people know he started his videos much longer than, let's say, when he got hot, right? And he got no views. People didn't pay attention. So that you guys see the process where at the end of the day, me and you, we're not looking to make money out of this. This is for enjoyment, and this is for the chance to help other men that, may come across our program, our channel, just to help out other men, because that's what we want. But at the end of the day, him and like many other influencers are making money off of it. We live in a capitalistic world. I'm not deluded in thinking, hey, you should tone it down, be more soft. And in his mind, he's like, okay, if I do this, I'm going to lose $1 million. Is it worth doing that to lose $1 million? No, not really. So I believe that's why I put it like, I understand. In this world, let's say this. If I say to any person out there, if you have to punch this woman, I'll give you $10 million. Most people probably do it. It's just how it is, right? I don't blame him for trying to make a living off of it. That's him. But that's why I say at the end of the day, it's accountability, right? He's not, although he's influencing people, but he's not inciting violence. He's not turning people into, let's say, toxic men. No, these are toxic men already watching his stuff and just getting riled up. And although if it wasn't him, it could be someone else. If it's not someone else, it could be somewhere in their real life that will rile them up. That's why I'm saying, like, it's hard, right? I get the view. A lot of points I get, these groups of men and stuff like that. But at the end of the day, it's like, this is the society we live in. It's very individualistic, and it's a capitalistic world. It's just how it is. So really, do we say that okay, this man shouldn't make his money because there are terrible men in his comment section or terrible men that looks up to him? Although I don't see him really promoting anything that's terrible. Holding women a mirror to their actions is not inciting violence or a terrible thing. But men that, let's say this, if a man that comes up to a woman and say that you're a 2, fine. If a man that comes up to a woman and say that you're a 2 and I'm going to rape you, that's a different story. So it's at the end of the day, it's like you got to think about it's what people would do. It's there. That's why I want to say, like I already said it. It's about accountability. It's at the end of the day, it's what you would do. People will be bad. I don't equate that. Okay, it's because of Kevin Samuels. These people turn bad. No, or it's because Kevin Samuels. These people were able to group together. People were grouping together before this man was even born. So I wouldn't, and I don't blame another man for making a living how he makes a living, especially when he's not technically turning these men into terrible men. Because if you've seen his other stuff, he has, let's say, I've seen it where a fat 30-year-old man, no job, living in his mom's basement, he still goes into this man. He went into him like saying that you're fat, you're short, you make no money, so why do you think women don't want you? Well, those are the things that you can do. You can't do nothing about your shortness, but you could do something about your fat and your wealth. This man has went into things where I think that's the thing where men should be blunt to people. That's just how it is. You should be blunt because that's men. That's the problem. When a man is not blunt, I don't view him as being honest. And I wouldn't say he's not a man, but he's not being the most man he could be. Whatever, I want to say that. But I mean, it's like you gotta be blunt because you see it for how it is. Don't sugarcoat them with emotions, being like trying to be like soft, because then you're just being a woman, right? Because I don't think men need to be sugarcoat their answers with emotions. That's why I said I like how. That's why for me personally, when I see the red pill stuff, these certain men like we said, the Fresh and Fit or Kevin Samuels, I want men to be blunt. But I also want men to hold accountability. So if you're blunt with a woman, you better be blunt with a man. That's what I'm saying. So that's why I said, because then if you're blunt with only women and soft with men, then you're purely being like, I don't know, just that's off to me, and I don't agree with that, because if you can see problems, you can see problems with everybody. So I want to make it clear that like I don't think that men, especially in this form, because I'm going to be blunt too. Although I'm not trying to be sensational, but some people take it as sensational. Although I admit that like Kevin Samuels or Fresh and Fit, they will add a little bit extra, but it's like at the end of the day, we know that anything in social media is about entertainment. Yeah. I mean, I doubt me stuttering a lot or me not being able to get all my words out is very entertaining to people, right? But at the end of the day, it's just what entertains. He gets these people get hundreds of thousands of views. It's just how it is.
Yeah. I mean, you're right. You can't blame them for doing what they need to do to make their money. I just hope people understand that. You know what I mean? So that they can see the difference between a genuine good point, which sometimes these guys make really good points, and being sensational, right? I don't want a group of men to use that as an excuse for their bad behavior.
But you gotta think, don't you think, right?
I guess it's gonna happen.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's like, I mean, to be honest, it's just like I don't disagree with that. I don't agree. But at the end of the day, we look at the world around us already. Men or people who commit crimes will commit crimes. People who do toxic or terrible things will just do it anyway. Yeah, fine. They find a reason. Like I said in the beginning, where people use the idea of games. You use an escape. People use scapegoats. You know, just like if we've seen it where if your significant other cheats, they say they're always drunk. You use it as a scapegoat because even no matter how drunk you are,
you wanted to do it.
Yeah. So that's what I'm saying. It's like at the end of the day, that's why I am 100%. I will say it now until the day I die. Accountability. I'm 100% believer in accountability. People may use others as a scapegoat, but that's because they're lacking in accountability. They don't want to take accountability of their own actions. So saying, "Oh my God, it's Kevin Samuels or Fresh and Fit said this, so I want to be so terrible to women." Well, they weren't necessarily saying you to be terrible to women. So, but you're just using this, thing to use as your vehicle to be what you want it to be. But this is like, it's just as a scapegoat to do what you wanted to do. So although I do understand what you're saying, I gotta say that I think everything trumps when I say accountability, because at the end of the day, we're not children. We're adults. So if we take away the accountability and put it on someone else, then we're turning these adults into children. Just like how people always say, children, their brains are not developed enough. So if they kill somebody, they should get a lesser sentence because their brain is not developed enough. So fine, I guess we take away accountability.
So, all right, cool. Here's a chance for me to make a point. If you're a man and you're watching us right now, or you're a fan of Fresh and Fit or RedPill or the opposite or online personalities for whatever reason, make sure you take everything you hear and see with a grain of salt. Use this information to process and help you make decisions, but don't let anyone make those decisions for you. Don't follow anybody over any hill. Just add it to your knowledge and your wisdom, and use reason to make good decisions. One thing that I try to do when I make decisions is I think to myself, I think about what's best for me, but I also think about what's best for the other people who are going to be involved, and try to be kind. What's the kindest way to handle any situation? It's usually the best way. That's usually the way that's going to work out best for you and for the other people involved in whatever decision you're making. Whether it be for yourself or your family, for your significant other, just try to make good decisions. Make good decisions when you pick the people you're going to be around. Make good decisions when you're making decisions for the people who are in your life and who you're responsible for. Keep those things in mind. I'm not.
No, I'm great. I'm sorry about. I'll probably cut that out anyway.
I was gonna laugh. I will spit my juice out.
But he made a great point, and that's why, again, I say accountability is that at the end of the day, it's our choice what kind of person we want to be. That's why I want to make this content, is that I want to help push men to be better, to be the best they can be, to be men that hold to their morals, to men that focus on character. So we have these other men, right? Fresh and Fit, Kevin Samuels, whatever, saying these knowledge, but you gotta take everything and process it, and not just have talking points go into your ear and going out, because they also 100% tell men to be the best version you can be, to be proper, to not just be disrespectful. You have to be better. That they have said that, right? however they other things they may say to be sensational entertainment, whatever. But at the end of the day, if you are just being ignorant because you think that now you think that women are below you, then you're losing your morals. Because for you to be better, you have to look at, you know what? I don't need to disrespect a woman just to, I don't know, because she doesn't like me. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to improve myself to the best I can be and show everyone that, you know what? She doesn't want me. Fine. Good for her. Because I'm going to be the best I can be. And then it don't matter about anything else. Yes. Because at the end of the day, we shouldn't just be bogged down by the weight of the world around, because I believe, right, men are the gender that has the weight of the world on us. So that's the thing where we have to understand that, you know, you have to be stronger. And you know what? If you have terrible women in life, well, I want to be there for you. I'm saying that I'm with you guys, right? Is that you're not alone. You can improve. You can be stronger. And you know, I believe, right? These videos, let's say anything about women and all stuff, it's not really to like shit on women. It's to let you know that, you know what? There are these kind of women out there, and that, you know what? Don't be ignorant to these women that are out there. But you know what? Be better so you don't have to deal with these women. You know, push yourself to the best you can be, and know that, you know what? Maybe I should stay away from these type of women. Or maybe, you know what? These single mothers, I should stay away from these type of women, because, you know what? They might not be good and healthy for my future. You know, those are the things that you know. Or not, it's not the where you say, oh, these single mothers, they're terrible, I should insult them. No, these single mothers are terrible, and I should stay away from them. Where, you know what? They won't be a productive part of my life. That's the thing. That's the difference, is where, you know what? Instead of one avenue where you see these girls and insult them and put them down, or you see these girls and learn that, you know what? These are not women that are fit for me, or will be a good addition to my future in my life. That's the purpose. So, you know, that's what. But I think that was a good conversation. You know, it was a good thing to have, where, again, I could see the toxicity in the red pill, but I don't necessarily believe it's the red pill that is making the toxicity. I think red pill it just gives men knowledge. But if you're toxic, you'll be toxic regardless. That's just how it is. Yeah. How long would you want to go for tonight?
Up to you. I mean, you want to do another? You think we got like another?
Yeah, I mean, I haven't.
Huh? So, did you want to push it another 15 minutes or so, or something like that? Or, I
mean,
that's fine. I'm not going anywhere. So.
I mean, I could go as long as you want. Because you're the thing. So we'll do another one, and then I'll ask you again if you're down for another one. So, okay. I thought this is a Kevin Samuel one. Okay. And I thought it was good. So let's hear it out.
How are you?
I am well. How old are you?
And she might talk more about what you're talking.
Okay.
Well, I just want to know why you have such a negative opinion of Black women.
Do you really want to start that way off with me?
Yes, I do.
Mm-hmm. Are you single or are you
married? I was married. I am single now.
You're divorced?
I am divorced.
How long have you been divorced?
Since I was 40.
Any children?
I have 4 children, 7 grandchildren.
Any sons?
I have 2 sons, 2 daughters.
Are they married? Your sons?
My sons are not married.
Mm-hmm. What am
Neither
I?
are my daughters.
What am I asking the black women to do that your sons would disagree?
I think my sons kind of look at me and they don't want to be married to black women.
I said,
They
what am I
actually
asking
want
black
to
women to
be
do that your sons would disagree?
I'm not sure.
Your sons look at you and they don't want to be married to black women?
Yes.
Do they love you?
Yes.
And why don't they want to be married to what looks like you?
I'm a very forceful woman.
Mm-hmm. So what was the initial question you asked me? Mm-hmm.
Yeah, what about black women don't you like?
Probably the same things your son don't like about you.
That could be true.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but I've had to work to be the person that I am. I had to climb the corporate ladder for my entire life. I actually,
you work to be the
I was the breadwinner of my family.
Just want to be clear. You work to be the person you are. How are you judging? What do you mean the person you are?
Well, I had to climb the corporate ladder, like I said. I put my husband through college and through school. I helped to build the entire family before he knew how to do it. I was forced to do it first.
Mm-hmm. And who fought for divorce?
I did.
Why?
Because he wasn't the man that I needed.
After all that work and all that stuff you want credit for, you left it?
Yes.
Is he remarried?
No, he's not.
So your sons,
Because he was
your father?
Yes.
And so you said all these nice things. You worked to build with your man and all these other things. You put him through. And after that, you left it because he wasn't good enough?
No, because he was a cheater.
Oh, you said he wasn't the man he's supposed to be. Now you're saying you're cheating. So now your sons looked at you do this as well. You said you had to work your way up the corporate ladder. Did you have to go to corporate America?
I thought so at the time.
No. Did you have to, or was it your choice?
No, I thought I had to.
No. So have to is breathe, be black. You didn't have to do anything. It was a choice because coming out of high school, you couldn't get that job. You had to make yourself skilled to do that. So it's a choice. Right?
Yes, I chose to be better than what I saw.
Going to corporate America automatically prohibited from having a healthy family life for non-black women.
Well, I wasn't taught that at that time.
I asked a question. Is going to corporate America automatically prohibited for non-black women?
Not automatically.
Okay,
no.
thank you. So women can go to corporate America and do all the things you say and still maintain a family.
They can.
All right. So the struggle you saying you had to deal with was a choice. You didn't have to do it. You chose to do it. The man you chose. You felt no man. See what women like you come through the door and automatically assume number one, people fall for those weak arguments. I don't. And I don't hate black women, dislike black women. Black women like yourself just don't like a mirror being held up to you with facts, data, and statistics. Your son holds a mirror. Your sons are determined who their mate choice. Your sons would likely not disagree with anything. And they have not chosen their own reflection based upon the woman that raised them. Why have your sons rejected you?
Well, it's still going to go. I wanted to get your point where she pretty much started out kind of what your it's not exactly, but it's kind of your in vein of your argument, supposedly hating black women, but technically, right? Which is why you like. Let's say we go back to your thing with the crowd, the toxic men that gathers would say that, oh, now I hate black women. I'm going to hate black women. But that's the problem where you said like I said that individually people are going to perceive it how they want to perceive it. So she perceived it as him hating black women, while he do it where he's holding women accountable and he's holding a mirror to women. So it's not necessarily him saying things that like that's showing that he hates black women. No, holding women accountable for their actions, because again, she makes it out like she had to work in a corporate America, but no, you don't. It's your choice. So that's why he brings it back to accountability. You choose this thing, right? I believe I'm saying this. How, let's say her husband cheated. Well, she's a woman that's probably didn't focus on her marriage, didn't focus on her man. So I'm not saying it's not an excuse for cheating, but it's a logical assumption what kind of facilitated cheating. You know, where a man, it's not needed, not wanted, and pretty much neglected. Well, what you gotta think. At the end of the day, a woman that, let's say, supported a man through his downs, but why would he cheat then? Well, probably because she also treated him bad. And because I can tell you this, men are not insecure when women make more than them. Men get insecure when women push that amount, making more than them, in their face and actually degrade them, disrespect them, show them that they're less than because they make more than them, which I believe strong black women do, you know, because if you are less than the woman where she has to support you, she will disrespect you and push your buttons and push you down to, let's say, find another woman. So again, it's about accountability, which most women don't have, especially, let's say, Kevin Samuels case. It's a Kevin Samuels case. Most black women don't have that mirror to their face, their actions. So technically, outside looking in, black women viewed him as hating them. But that's not hate. That's showing that, you know what? You need to know what you did. So what she should have done, right? She should have viewed it like, I was a terrible wife, right? And obviously I was a combative. I was a aggressive. I was probably a hard mother. Okay. So really, again, like he said, why wouldn't her sons want to date a black woman? Well, because she's an image of what black women are. So that's the thing where I say it's accountability, where she didn't view that she helped this man, but I bet 100% bet she also.
We don't know from
you don't know, but I mean, you gotta think she left him. He cheated. You gotta think okay, why would a man cheat when this woman supposedly brought him up? Well, probably because, you know, he wasn't happy with her. That's at least for sure. He wasn't happy with her. That's at least certain. So you gotta think, women don't hold that accountability where maybe, you know what, I need to self-reflect. Maybe I was a terrible wife, so my husband cheated. Okay, it's rare when you are the perfect wife and your husband would cheat. I'm not saying that's impossible, but that's rare. And then I think it's rare. I don't have no data and statistics on it, but I'm saying that I think it's rare because a lot of times women or anybody in a partnership don't view their mistakes or what they're doing that would, I don't know, affect their partner. So, you know, that's the thing where that's the thing where I go back to saying, like, again, the audience may view him as a way, but I believe he is a proponent of accountability.
I mean, I'm not going to say that he doesn't make sense a lot of the time. I mean, that in that conversation specifically, I would have liked him to ask her. I didn't hear him say this. I would have liked him to ask her outright, like, were you, I don't know, how would I even phrase the question? How did you treat your man, essentially? You know what I mean? Like, he made assumptions based on the fact that she went into corporate America. She got a job to support her family. I don't think that's a bad thing. Like you mentioned, rubbing it in your mate's face if they're not making as much or doing as much or able to do as much. that would be the thing that could really hurt a relationship. He didn't ask, I don't think he asked her outright if she was doing that. So I don't think you can assume just because a woman's successful in helping her family that means she's a detriment to their relationship. And if he were not trying to support their family, if he wasn't putting his best foot forward, even if it wouldn't result in bringing home as much, he might have been, he still could have been a no good man. I'm just being a devil's advocate.
No,
but I understand the point. Hey, when you were, what he was asking her, when you were being successful in corporate America, which you chose to go into, were you coming home and also being a good wife to your husband, or were you, or were you disrespectful? Were you rubbing in his face? Did you think less of him because you did what you did?
I would say this, because you gotta, again, true, he's not digging in deep, but you could go on forever if you dig into someone's life. So he's not trying to do that, but you can confer a lot of things. Let's say that you could hear in her story, she was forced to go, focus on corporate America, working up the ladder. So really, it's resentment too, where she had to be the head of the family, which most Black women believe they are, and most Black women push that they are. So you can confer that. Again, nothing's 100%, but it's not the most. It's a logical assumption where this woman, let's say, she resented the man because now she had to supposedly take a man's role. Well, again, at the end of the day, you chose that man, and you chose to have 4 children with that man, and then you divorced him because he wasn't what you wanted. Okay, and he cheated because of, he was the man you chose. Okay, there's no way where she's like, okay, and he, like Kevin Samuel said, there are women that go through the corporate ladder and still could be good wives. But this woman, you could hear the resentment in the things she said, being forced to, go up the corporate ladder because you probably didn't want to. And she said she had to take care of her family, all this. She had to be the breadwinner, pretty much. And the head, like I said, the head of the household. So really, a woman that's married and pretty much, I'm not saying she said it, but pretty much like have the attitude of being the head of the household. What man wants to deal with that? So really, you could put a assumption where, he's been put down, felt less of a man. So of course he's going to cheat. So really, logical assumptions happen where, you could see it where, how she didn't focus on her marriage. She didn't have to go up corporate, raise the ladder. Go up the ladder of corporate America, okay, and ignore her marriage. She chose that, and then there are byproducts to your action. There's consequences, good or bad, to whatever action you take. You focus on corporate America. Well, your husband focused on another woman, and you gotta think. At the end of the day, I'm not saying husband's good or bad. I'm saying that at the end of the day, you chose that man. You chose a man that really did not have no stability, that where you supposedly had to, finance his education, and then you had kids with him, and then you felt the need that 4 kids, not 1 kid, you had 4 kids with him, and then you felt the need to leave him then. So you broke up a family, you neglected your husband, and then broke up a family. All the things you chose to do. Okay? You picked the man, you picked the job, you had the kids, and then you divorced. So really, it's like, at the end of the day, that's what I say. Kevin Samuel, he dissects it, right? And he puts the mirror to a woman, and he enforce accountability. Which I'll say this, right? What thing I learned from Kevin Samuel and what changed my view of life is how I believe in accountability. I'm gonna say it until the day I die. Because this man, while people call him Godfather, I support that too, because he has taught me that accountability is top. It's number one. So, because at the end of the day, we are we're our own gods of our actions. Okay, so
okay, cool.
We could continue a little bit and let's see.
Yeah. Now, I just feel like I have to say this. I'm not putting this on Kevin. I'm not saying that he said all black women are like this. My mom wasn't. My mom was. My mom.
Like what? Like
my mom wasn't. Not that my parents' marriage was or is perfect, because I don't think any marriage is, any relationship is ever perfect. But I had a wonderful mother, a black woman who worked hard for her family, who supported her husband and her children. So good black women exist. A lot of them.
But you gotta think, right? What his mother is that you just said it, support her husband. That's the thing. You believe in religion. One thing religion always say is a woman is a man's helpmate. Kevin Samuel has repeated that over and over again until the day he died. A woman is a man's helpmate. I honestly believe, by the things she said, just inferring a logical assumption, she definitely wasn't a helpmate to her husband. She was the man in that relationship, and she enforced it. She acted like that. I believe you can see that. Even she said her sons view her as, what was it? Over the just aggressive and stuff like that. Well, that says a lot of something, right? So the difference, right? It's not just because your mom is black. It's because your mom had morals. She lived by her morals and ideals, where she believed she was her husband's helpmate, where she supported her husband. You don't overtake a man. I mean, you're religious. You don't overtake a man. A man should be the head of a household. Wherever, let's say even the hypothetical situation where she makes more than him. A woman that will take a step back and not disrespect the man and hurt his ego, hurt his sense of being a man, is a true helpmate. Even though she makes more, she still believes that, you know what, this is the man of the house. So that, because she's focused on the marriage, she's not just focused on finances and all that stuff. So you have to know where your focus is at. Your mother was focused on the marriage, where she knew that, whatever the financial situation is, that, he's the man of the house. I'm his helpmate. So I don't switch that role. I believe most black women switch roles, where if she supposedly didn't find a man that makes a whole lot more money, she's the head of the household. And I believe her husband was supposedly her helpmate. And that's not a dynamic for a healthy marriage, because men are just not like that. And then men will cheat, because that's a suffocating relationship. All right, let's continue.
I don't think that they have.
Well, then why aren't they married you?
I think that they have grown up with their own choice in life, and I would rather for them to have that.
Yeah. So, and how old is your youngest son?
31.
So, if he's over 30, if they were non-black boys, better than 50% chance they'd be married by this time.
Maybe.
No, maybe. That's a fact. That's data. You can verify that yourself after you get out. Then why, if a woman who's as accomplished as you are, and done the things you say you did, why do you think your sons are rejecting a woman that shares your repulsion? Yeah.
That's their choice.
No, you're their mother.
Yeah, but that doesn't make me a perfect person just because I'm their mother. I'm still learning and growing as a person.
Perfection is not the requirement. Perfection is not the requirement, But just like you said, how you came in this door was who you are. And it's distasteful.
That's your opinion.
It's also your son's opinion.
Not necessarily.
And so you need to be right.
Oh, remember that line, right?
What did he say?
Shame, insults, and the need to be right.
Mm-hmm.
That is the Bible of Black women. Or women in general.
I cannot put that on an entire group. But
well, that's why I said women in general. You know, but
you said
remember that quote. Shame, insult, and the need to be right.
Okay.
Remember that when you're talking to a woman. Right? Because really, she just said, like, you can see what she just said. And then she just countered it. Oh, that's your opinion. Well, what? You have to be right? Because no, you said that your sons, viewed you like that too. So really, she counteracted, but she's trying to, turn the argument into her thing. So it was like,
So there's a way to counteract that real quick. Like, it's a different conversation. If he stops right now and he says, listen, I'm not calling you a bad person, but I am saying that you could have done a better job supporting your husband, and you could have set a better example for your son to view. You see what I'm saying? Like, there's a point where he's not being tactful enough to get his point across, and I'm not blaming him for anything. I'm listening to him. I'm following along. She's being combative because he's got her to corner now and making her look kind of.
I would say this, right? Sometimes you can't change other people's views, right? So, but what you can do is, right, show this person to other people. So let's say, like, if say for hypothetically, I'm a woman and I see, wow, this woman is like, this is crazy. This woman is like, really, she's been a terrible wife, terrible mom. So maybe not terrible, but she hasn't been a great one or a good one.
She's made some mistakes, yeah.
Yeah. So but her attitude, she came in with an attitude, right? She came in with this assumption already. So you could see the aggressiveness coming in already. So you could see that, maybe like a lot of times, right? If we view our problem on someone else, that will change our views. It will change, like, wow, oh my God, I'm seeing that image, and wow, that's me, but I didn't think about that, And I think that's what he's doing, because sometimes it's hard to change the person that you're talking to, because they're going to come into this conversation with their own aggressiveness, their own stubbornness, right? So it's not like. So that's why it's usually hard, because I think he's not necessarily trying to fix her or whatever, but he is usually letting the audience see it, where they could see that mirror, and you know what, maybe reflect on them. But that's what I'm thinking.
Yeah.
So, the funny thing is, women in our generation, whether they like it or not, I've gotten more Black people married in the last year, and all people keep telling you that you're right.
That's awesome.
I know it is. That's why Black women keep joining up. That's why women your age are saying, you know what, initially I didn't like you until I realized it wasn't that I didn't like you. I didn't like you telling me about myself, the things I could dispute. Because, like it or not, at our age, we're not supposed to be single.
That's a choice too, isn't it?
But no, we're not supposed to be single. What generations have preceded us in our culture where people decide to be single in their 50s plus or their 40s plus?
I don't know many other generations that do it. Most people
So your corporate career, you've been single since 40. After retirement, I'm assuming you're doing decently financially.
I maintain.
You maintain. Will you be able to have what you need for retirement from 65 to 85?
I can do it, yes.
Well, if that's what you determine as a successful life, then cool. But most people think life is about people. Most people understand life is about people, family, and relationships.
Mm-hmm.
Can you get one of those? A relationship.
I'm not ready yet.
I didn't ask you. I said, can you get one? Not be ready.
Yeah.
You've been divorced 17 years. How long is it going to take you to be ready? To get 80?
Until I'm ready.
Uh-huh.
If it's not
How long?
yet.
And what constitutes being ready if you've been divorced 17 years?
Opening myself up again to hurt and disappointment.
Mm-hmm. So that's the only thing a relationship is, hurt and disappointment.
That's what has been my experience thus far.
Okay, so your 4 children would love to know that they're hurt and disappointed.
No, not them.
Okay. Ow! Check. Mate.
See, that's what, like, that's what the thing where you can see that, right? Relationships, again, where I think you may come into the idea of more being disingenuous, where it's like there's more to it, right? Is that he pretty much holding the mirror, where this is what women think. Women are so entwined with their own feelings that they don't see the bigger picture. A family is not just about you falling in love and having butterflies. Family is about you creating a stable marriage, having good, productive children for, productive futures. It's about more than just you. That's why I said. I said it. Please check my TikTok out. Is that the culture of single mothers, which she is about independent. It's about just you. It's about you and yourself and no one else, right? You focus on yourself. Literally, she didn't view her relationship, although she may hated her husband, who she chose to be with, who she chose to marry and chose to have children with. She didn't see that, you know what? No matter what, I had 4 beautiful kids from. No matter what, I came into this relationship happy, supposedly. I came into this marriage happy, supposedly. Unless you married a man that you hated and, weren't happy with in the beginning. It's like how it ended. You got to think that, there's more than just the ending. There's also the beginning, the middle, the results of that marriage. It's more than just, that's why I said women are such the here and now. Right? They're like, right now I was unhappy in the relationship, right? Right now I'm unhappy. So that's it. You don't view that, there are accomplishments. There's bigger things than just how you feel. What do you think?
Oof. That's loaded. I don't disagree. Once you have a family, you're responsible for your family. If you're just thinking about yourself and your own feelings, you can do things that can hurt your mate. You can hurt your children. They are always watching, so they see what you do and how you behave. So yes, if you don't have that in mind, you can do damage, and then later when you're stuck with that wreckage and you don't know why, it could be because you didn't make good decisions earlier. I'm afraid to put labels on it because I don't think that single mothers are all single by choice, or are all single mothers by choice.
Oh, come on. Why would you stop this at the end? Because this could be a big conversation.
Then we might have to save it for the next video. But like to blanketly say that just single mothers in general are poisonous or bad culture. That's rough, man. I don't know if I can sign on to that one.
How could you, like, that's why I'm saying, like, I'm sorry. This is where the blue pill is poisoning you. You are religious. Mm-hmm. Okay? How could you disrespect your religion by saying that.
Why? How is that disrespecting my religion?
How is it disrespectful? Because you gotta think. At the end of the day, family is the basis of religion. Okay, it's about family. It's about a husband and wife. So a woman, let's say one thing, right? I'm taking out the one where she, let's say, divorced the husband. Mm-hmm. What about women that never even married and now are single women? Okay, I still want to go back because I 100% believe, let's say 99% of single mothers are single by choice. Okay.
So, and I think you said this earlier. You don't want a single mother, right? You don't want to date one.
No, I'm not. Okay, I'm not saying I never said I'm not going to want to date one. I'm just saying that you have to be armed with the knowledge that single mothers may not be beneficial to you. You have to. That's why I said, like, men have to be armed with the knowledge of what comes with a single mother. I've dated single mothers, right? Okay. No, but you have to know what comes with it. You can't be deluded and be like, "Oh my God, I didn't know." No, that's why I say accountability. I chose to it, so whatever happens, I should know. You know, it's my choice.
But let's say, because this happens. I'm not saying that when you're young, some people make mistakes. So people have children out of wedlock at early ages. Not good. But now the boy doesn't marry the girl, or he leaves, or he has children with multiple women, whatever. Now she's a single mother. She's a woman with a kid or two and no man in her life to help her take care of her children. And we're saying that's her fault and she's a detriment to society because she's in that situation. Or like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
hey, let me say this, right? I'm gonna say two things, right? She's a detriment to society because statistically, criminals, let's say by statistic, the amount of criminals that are in prison right now are raised by single mothers. That's a fact. Okay, the amount of men men, you know, the criminals that commit crimes, murderers, all this stuff, are raised by single women.
But if it's
I'm not saying it's different. No, see, it's different than saying all single mothers raise criminals. No, but the difference is that saying the criminals, right, are raised by single mothers. Those are two different things. I'm not saying all single mothers. I'm not saying a higher percent of single mothers raise criminals. No, I'm saying a higher percent of criminals are raised by single mothers. Have to know the difference. So that's not saying that single mothers raise criminals.
So that means that you could be blaming the fathers for that.
See, that's what I'm saying. Okay, well, I say you're single by choice is one, you chose to give this man a baby without marriage.
Okay,
right? And let's say if we take out force, right? Uh-huh. Women have predominantly the most contraception options more than men. Men only have condoms and pulling out, right? Women have multitude of choices, right? So at the end of the day, that's why I said accountability. Accountability matters. She first let either one didn't choose any contraception, right? No birth controls, no none of that, because there's so many different kind of birth controls or preventative measures. One, she didn't force the man to wear a condom. Two, she let a man, finish in her. Three, she should have forced the man to not finish in her. So at the end of the day, power equals responsibility, or it should. It should equal responsibility.
Okay.
So that's why I said at the end of the day, it's by choice.
But if they're both teenagers, right? If they're both teenagers and the boy disappears, isn't the woman being responsible by taking care of her children?
No. Okay, look, I know. Let's say this, right? I know that you're religious, so you're pro-choice. I mean, pro-life. I am pro-choice. Although I understand, I'm not happy about it. But why I say I'm pro-choice is that not because I want children to die. I'm more like it's about accountability. It's your choice. You do what you want. I don't control what you do with your life, okay, or what you do with the lives that you produce, because that's a sin, or that's a regret, or that's a consequence that you made, right? I'm not gonna tell you to have a child, because then I'm gonna be a part of that cycle where, you know what? And that's why I believe the problem with pro-lifers is that, okay, if you told this person to make that or keep this life, you better have it also be ready to take the consequences with it, because you help enforce this. Because I'm saying, like, no, it's all your responsibility. You want, if this is what you want, you do it, and you will suffer the consequences from it. Why I say that? I believe in general, of course, there's single mothers that done good, but in general, they don't raise productive people. So really, it's like, let's say this: a child raising another child. The struggle is so high. The world is against you, right? First of all, you probably lose out in education. Now you already lost out in marriage or like commitment, and now you may not raise a productive child, productive future adult. So it's like, why is that? I'm seeing that as a good thing. I don't see that in general as a good thing. So I cannot view it as, okay, oh great, she kept her child, now she's raising on. No, that's not necessarily a good thing, because like I said,
bored.
I mean, no, I'm saying, okay, again, I'm not telling you to do what you do, right?
Yeah, but
it's your option. But at the end of the day, it's like again, I don't like, abortion, killing children, and stuff. But it's like, at the end of the day, if I say accountability, I mean accountability, where you have autonomy of your own actions. And at the end of the day, you think our society now. And okay, I'm also, like, this is going to be extreme and controversial. I believe we're overpopulated. I believe we're overpopulated.
Okay.
We are human beings. We're destroying the planet. I'm not a what is it? A climate change activist or anything shit like that.
Yeah.
But I'm not stupid to the reality that human beings are destroying the world. Yeah.
Well, we are destroying the world.
Yeah. So really, it's like
populated. I think it's because we're greedy.
But we got to think of this: we're destroying the world. One thing's because there's so many people in this world. There's so many, and it's like, and to be honest, right? Human beings are terrible. In general, human beings are terrible people, or terrible species. We are, So it's like, okay, fine. You want to kill babies? Well, I'm not going to tell you to do it, but I'm not going to cry because that's what you did. That's you think, right? And I'm saying, like, you got to think, right? What they always say is statistically that a single mother will raise just unproductive human beings. It's just how it's statistically. So if you're not going to have a family, I don't believe that it's a good thing anyway. So, that's just my thing.
Oh man, I don't know, Dan.
And it's funny that you're against abortion, but yet you what would the word be? You have sympathy for single mothers, because it's like, I believe single mothers. I mean, I'm not a Bible thumper, but it's like, I believe single motherhood is against religion.
So
because also, yeah, you said it before, having baby out of wedlock, that's against religion. So really, how could you? That's why I said you are so blue pilled, it's poisoned you.
No, it hasn't poisoned me. Like, people, like, you can't dismiss we make mistakes all the time, right? Because I'm religious does not mean that I don't have sympathy for people who make mistakes, because I make a ton all the time, right? Our religion really, and I think people lose sight of this in America, like by a large extent. A large part of religion is about love and forgiveness, right? So holding a mistake, like you want to hold somebody accountable for what they did, but you don't want to punish them forever for it. So I'm not gonna shame a person who, when they were a kid, made a mistake and now they have a child they have to take care of, and they don't have a man in their life to help them. But if that's the situation now, what is she supposed to do? I mean, because it happens all the time, right? You should have had an abortion when you got pregnant. No, I don't believe that. You should you find a man? Well, if you can. But what you definitely should do is take care of your child and do your best to raise them. And there are plenty of women who have done that successfully. Now, I understand that a woman being completely responsible for her family, or being the head of her household, is a lot of responsibility, and them taking on a lot on themselves may make them less agreeable to having someone else do it for them, or being in a relationship where they have to be submissive if they've been in charge the whole time. But I've seen plenty of women raise children to be responsible by being responsible. So I don't believe that single mothers are poisonous. I believe that women who make selfish decisions and stick by those decisions can be poisonous. So if you're a single mother because you fell out of love with your husband and decided you wanted a divorce and broke up a family, well, you've created a problem, and that's on you. But if you're a single mother because you made a mistake when you were a kid, or your husband left you and it really wasn't your fault, because that happens sometimes, or they died, you are not a black.
Don't use that. Come on, don't use being a widow.
But it happens,
but that's not part of the talk.
Okay, well, but my point is,
exceptions don't make the rules. Quit doing that. You do that with people that are against like these talking points. The manosphere do. They use exceptions to counteract the rules. Like I said, right? Why I believe it's poison is because it's a generational cycle. That's why it's like I believe we should bring shame back. They should be shamed. They should be held accountable, and they should be. They shouldn't be what's like I shouldn't. They shouldn't be violated, or not violated. It's like they shouldn't be just harmed or kind of harmed, but they should be insulted.
Disrespected. I mean, I get taking accountability for your actions, but imagine having a child and being responsible for that child, and also being shamed by everyone who sees you with your child while you're taking care of your child. Like, that's awful.
Well, you should have had a child. See, that's what I'm saying, where we neglect there's consequences to actions. There's just consequences to actions. So let's say this, although it's not I don't think it's the same degree, but if you murder someone, so you think that now that you murdered someone, you came out of prison, that it should be done and over with? No, you done an act. There's consequences. So if you murder someone and then people shame you for the rest of your life, well, that's just how it works, because that's consequences to every action. There are consequences to whether good or bad, whatever thing you do in life. That's just how life works.
But
so
the consequences for having a baby out of wedlock is raising that baby.
No. That's the responsibility. You made a life and you chose to keep that life. That's a responsibility of it. Right? The consequences is like, you know what? I mean, okay. The consequences is everything. There's everything that goes along with it is the consequences. Let's say a man that doesn't want you. Well, that's a consequence of that action. People shaming you. Well, that's a consequence of that action too. There's no such thing as just one consequences, or just one thing. It's just
I don't think you should shame a mother.
I think you should.
No.
No. See, no. I think it's different, right?
Because
You don't shame a mother, you shame a single mother. That's just how it is.
They're still because they're still a mother. They still have a child, and if they're the only parent for that child, then that child needs to learn to love and respect that woman. Which means if you're shaming them, you're counteracting what needs to be happening for that child. You're hurting that child, not the mother. I mean, you're hurting the mother too.
I can tell you this: the mother hurted that child when she didn't marry. That child was already on the wrong foot. So really, okay. So the mother already hurt the child.
Here, like, yeah, I'm gonna get married after. Like, men are definitely out here having sex with women, definitely without marrying them.
Yeah,
absolutely. Men are not out here trying to marry single mothers. You kind of just. But
let me counter that. It's the men you chose, and you don't have to see. Yeah, men are having sex with women, but like women, you don't have to have sex with men. It's like. So that's the thing. Back to accountability. Don't do it. Again, I'm saying this is a free world or a free U.S., right? You don't have to have sex with men. You don't. And plenty of women don't. Because, I'm pretty sure me and you, if we did, things wouldn't be like that, right? So really, women have choice. But see, that's what we neglect, right? Is that we let it off. That's why I think the problem is, right? You have to see. I believe it's an epidemic. There's a problem. It's a cycle. And people being soft, I'd rather people be blunt about it. No. You being a single mom is a detriment. I'm not saying fine, it happened already. You can't change it, right? It happened. But the problem is that you have to be blunt with women or with people in general. Where no, that was wrong. You shouldn't have done. You shouldn't chose the man. You shouldn't have sex with a man, right?
That's it. All right. So it's like they're already in this situation now. They're already a single mother. It's done. All right. What's helpful to the mother and the child? Or does that matter?
What's helpful? I mean, for one, for her to
be like, well, you shouldn't have done it.
I can tell you this, right? Look the video. Look at the video we showed, right? Of an much older single mother who's still deluded. So yes, it does. Because why? I'm sorry. Most people don't have good self-reflection, right? They do not self-reflect, right? They do not see the problems they've done. Even still at her late age, what did he say? 60, whatever. She still was deluded and thinking, oh, the husband just cheated. That's the fall of our marriage. No, you were a terrible wife, and you probably weren't that great of a mother. So these are the consequences. Hold it to a woman's face. Hold it to a person's face. That no, I'm not saying that we should just destroy a person because they were a single mom, but no, we just like no. You chose a terrible man. So really now this child doesn't have a father, right? If you find that as an insult, well then. Fine, you found an insult, but no, you didn't pick a good man. So what you do is that, you know what? Don't make this mistake again. That's the problem, right? We ignore it because if you want to be soft, women will make the same mistakes again. I did a video. Please check out my YouTube. Right? Please check out my videos. A woman, sex worker, three babies from 3 different men. Okay, this is your single mother. You go, girl. That's the thing. Where if she was shamed like after the first, if she was shamed after the first baby, right? Hopefully, she wouldn't have had 2 extra babies. See, that's the thing that I'm sorry. In general, we are not understanding the consequences of our actions. Nor are we understanding the consequences of our supposedly, I don't know, promoting. And it's not promoting it, but I mean, our acceptance of it, because when people feel accepted, they're like, oh, you go, girl, you're a single, strong, independent mother. Well, no, you're not. You're not strong. You're independent because you're stupid. You shouldn't be. If you have a child, you should be dependent on somebody because 2-parent household is better than 1. And that's the thing where we are deluding women. And I hate that. And I say that I'm going to say it to the NO single. I mean, and again, this is not all, but in general, single motherhood is a detriment. Right? I said this in our video. Single mothers are a broken family. They're not a family. It's a husband and wife and children. That is a family. Right? And that is a community. Single mothers is not a community. And now, I'm sorry, the black community is destroyed because it is made up of single mothers and children. That's not a community.
It's not made up of single mothers and children.
It is. You're kidding me? Don't do that. Don't lie.
Children who are not black.
What?
It's not just a black problem. It's a people problem.
I mean,
I'm going to be clear about that. But you say I point out the exception and don't want to talk about the role. I feel like the role is excluding all these different exceptions, like
because it's minuscule. It doesn't change.
So you're saying that most single mothers are single mothers by choice?
Yes.
Because they were bad women.
Well, okay. I'm not. Again, I didn't say bad women. I just said irresponsible. I didn't say nothing. I just said I'm saying they were irresponsible women.
Okay.
Right. I'm not saying the bad women because bad is such a weird concept in this situation. I'm not saying bad. I'm saying irresponsible women, stupid women.
Okay.
Okay. So, I'm gonna
because I feel like there's a lot of stupid men and bad men.
Okay. See, that's what I'm saying. Why you do that? Why are you doing that? Because I didn't take away from that. Okay.
Enough that it's not like a rare occurrence.
But again, I'm not taking away from that. See that you don't do that because saying stupid women doesn't mean that I said there's no stupid men. So really, that's not that was not our conversation. I'm saying that
we're shaming single mothers
because but see, that's what I'm saying. The problem is that I'm saying who holds the power, right? Men hold the power to marriage and relationship. Women hold the power to sex, right? So, and sex equals children. So women hold the power to who can become a father. So when you come single motherhood, well, you chose that because you have the power, you have the responsibility. And I would say, why I say stupid women, because irresponsibility goes hand in hand with intelligence or lack thereof. Period.
Woo, okay.
Off the fucking mic.
Okay, all right.
Here, since we're talking about single mothers, I just posted. I mean, I had this posted on my TikTok. I wanted us to look at.
Oof.
Where's the
baby daddies who take care of it? Or date a single mom if she has an excellent baby father. Because good baby daddies who take care of their kids always have a place inside their baby mama's bedroom. Just off the strength that he's a good man and the mother is most likely the one who ruined the relationship. Additionally, the kids will never be loyal to you. Never date a single mom if she has a waist trainer with no gym membership. This means she is lazy. If she wear her ponytail high on the top of her head, this means she is controlling. If she has on Gucci, but her kids' sneakers are pro kids, this means she is selfish. If she has more than one baby father, this means she is reckless. If she wears oversized flip-flops, this means she will steal your belongings. If her bonnet has hanging threads, this means she's a hoarder. If her eyelashes are longer than 8 millimeters, this means she's very loose. If she has cooking grease on the burners of the stove, she's careless. So stay away from women who are lazy, controlling, selfish, reckless, thieves, hoarders, loose, and careless. See you on the next.
Yeah, wild.
I thought that was wild, so I had to share it.
Oh man. Well, This is very interesting.
And again, okay, I'm not saying. See, I can tell you this, right? I want to reiterate that I'm not saying, single mothers are not. You don't date them, or they're just terrible people, because I mean they're probably not. But I mean, you have to not be blinded, right, by, let's say, society or whatever, when you're going into dating single mothers. First of all, it's already a reflection of their irresponsibility, right? Either their irresponsibility or their poor choice in men. That's all off the bat. Or their cooperation with a man, because they couldn't cooperate well with the baby father to sustain that relationship. So that's one thing. I mean, and I've dated single mothers, and you will always be second best to their children, and that's at best. Okay, most of the times you're probably third, fourth, fifth. Because you'll be down the ladder for dating a single mother. And I could go on with so many different reasons, but I'm saying, like, don't be deluded in dating a single mother, because that shit that shit will hurt you. And that's why I want to do these stuff where we're giving knowledge to men, and why I like, and where I think a lot of men think like you, but that's why I'm saying, like, that's why I'm here to counteract that shit. All
right. All right, cool.
Yeah.
Oh man.
So what are you thinking? We're already on 2 hours.
You're in 2 hours.
End that?
I'm gonna call it for the night. Yeah.
Cool.
I'll let that marinate. We can get back in that single mother conversation again.
Yeah, I mean, no, we're definitely going to do more of that in the future.
Okay, all right.
Cool. I hope you have other, I mean, the first video was, Average Joe's contribution, where I react to it. Hopefully, he will bring up other stuff in the future.
Yeah, absolutely.
This was I think, amazing conversation. Very very fun.
Absolutely.
And just a lot of thought processes. A lot of good point of views, and I hope you guys liked it too. Definitely leave your thoughts in the comment sections. Any last words?
No. Be smart. Stay great.
Yeah, it was fun. Guys. All right, we're gonna see you guys later.
Take care. Until next time.